It's me, Cheryl, from Story Values, where we travel the world through stories and our imaginations. Let's begin with the welcome song. If you know it, you can sing with me. Hello, I'm so glad you're here for the storyteller's journey. Hello, I'm so glad you've come to join me for a story. My name's Cheryl. Hi, can you say hi, Cheryl? Wonderful, thank you. Now I feel very welcomed. Hello, I'm so glad you're here to join me for a story. What's your name? Can you say your name? Wonderful, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Hello, I'm so glad you're here for the storyteller's journey. Excellent. That's our welcome song, and I welcome you to our story time. Now, when I tell stories, I always bring my magic story bag. And inside are stories from all over the world. To find out which story we'll listen to, we'll say the story bag poem. Let's say it together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Story bag, what have you to say? Story bag, what's in you today? Let's take a look and see. Oh, we have a floppy fish. Look at that. This is a story inspired by the 1001 Arabian Nights. The name of this story is called The Fisherman. As I tell the story, try to create pictures in your mind of what's happening in the story as I tell it. Story ears open, story mouths quiet, story buckles buckled, and let us begin. Once upon a time, long ago, there lived a fisherman and his wife and their 10 children. Every day the fisherman went down to the ocean and caught fish to feed his family. The extra fish his wife would take to the market and sell for money. Now one day the fisherman cast his net. Now he had made an agreement that he'd only cast his net into the ocean 3 times a day. And one day he cast his net 3 times, but he didn't catch any fish. The next day he cast his net again 3 times, but he didn't catch any fish. His family was hungry, so the next day he went down to the ocean when it was still dark outside. He wanted to get some fish for their breakfast. He prepared his net for the very first cast of the day, and he threw out the net. When the net hit the dark water, he instantly felt a tug. He pulled in the net, and when he opened up the net on the beach, he saw that he had caught a log, an old log that was in the water. He had to clear away the log and prepare his net. He had to sew a hole that the log had ripped in his net. So he got ready for the second cast, and he threw out his net, and once again it hit the dark water, and instantly he felt another tug. It wasn't as big, but he was hoping he'd caught something special. He pulled in the net, and when he opened up the net on the beach, he saw that he'd caught a basket filled with mud and sand, nothing they could eat. Once again, he had to clean out the net and repair it and get ready for the last cast of the day. Before he threw it out, he closed his eyes and said a prayer, and he threw the net out, and it hit the water. And just then he noticed that the sun was just peeking up over the horizon, and he saw something sparkling in the net. He felt a little pull, so he pulled in the net, and when he opened up the net, he found that he had caught a bottle, an old-fashioned bottle. "Wow," said the fisherman. "We can't eat the bottle, but I can sell it in the market and get money to buy food." "Oh, it's heavy. Maybe there's something special inside." He brought out his fisherman's knife and cut open the sealed part. Then he looked in, but there was nothing inside. "Oh, well," he said, "no matter. It's such a beautiful antique." He rubbed the bottle And then the bottle started to tremble. And out of the bottle came a big cloud of smoke. And out of the smoke appeared a genie. The genie was giant, and he looked down at the fisherman and said, "Fisherman, prepare to die." And the fisherman said, "Die? I just let you out of the bottle. Aren't you supposed to grant me 3 wishes or something?" And the genie said, "Usually that's right. Usually I'm supposed to give you 3 wishes, but in this case, no." And the fisherman said, "Wait a minute, I don't understand. Why? Why aren't you granting me wishes, and why are you threatening to kill me?" And the genie said, "Well, all right, I'll explain it all to you, and then I'll kill you." So the genie started to tell a story. He said, long ago, 500 years ago, he did something very bad. And the king of the genies got so angry with him, he put him in the bottle. Then he sealed it, and he threw the bottle out to sea. The genie said, "I really wanted to get out of that bottle. So I said, if somebody lets me out of the bottle in 100 years, I'll grant them 100 wishes. Usually you just get 3. And I waited 100 years, but nobody let me out. And then I said, okay, if somebody lets me out in the next 100 years, I'll grant them 1,000 wishes. That's a lot of wishes. And I waited for 100 years, but nobody let me out. And then I said, okay, all right, if somebody lets me out of this bottle in the next 100 years, I'll grant them all the wishes they ever wish. They'll never run out of wishes. And I waited for 100 years, but nobody let me out. And then I got angry. And I said, whoever opens up this bottle, I'm going to kill him dead. And you opened the bottle, so prepare to die. Now the fisherman didn't want to die. He didn't want some angry genie killing him just because he was in a bad mood. Now the fisherman was very smart, and he knew that he had to come up with a good idea quickly to save his life. So he thought very quickly, and he came up with an idea. He said, okay, genie, it looks like you got me, but before you kill me, will you please answer one question? And you have to promise that you'll tell the truth. And the genie said, all right, I'll answer a question, and I promise I'll tell the truth. What is your question? The fisherman was overjoyed. He knew he'd come up with a solution that was going to save his life with that one question. Now let's take a pause here in the story. Can you think of a question that the fisherman could ask the genie that would save his life? I'll give you a moment to think. All right, now I'll tell you what happened. So, the genie was waiting, and the fisherman said, all right, genie, this is my question. Were you really, really, really in that bottle for 500 years? And the genie said, yes, I really, really was. And the fisherman said, wait a minute, you said that you would tell the truth. And the genie said, I am telling the truth. I was in that bottle for 500 years. And the fisherman said, I don't believe you. Look how big you are, and look how little this bottle is. You can't fit in here. I won't believe it unless I see it. And the genie said, all right, I'll show you. And poof, he turned into smoke and went back into the bottle. And quick as a flash, the fisherman put the lid on the bottle and said, all right, I did it. I figured out a way to save my life. And now you're going back into the ocean. And he threw the bottle back into the ocean. And that is where that genie is to this very day. So if you're walking on the beach and you come across a bottle that looks a lot like this, don't open it. And there be my story, be it bitter or sweet. Take what you like, but leave enough for me to eat. Very good, very good. Now, I wonder what you thought of that story. I wonder if you were able to picture what was happening in the story as I told it. I wonder if you were able to imagine what the genie looked like. Wow. If you want to, you can even draw a picture of what you think the genie looked like. I wonder if you were able to come up with an idea that would save that fisherman's life. It's a very interesting story. You know, I've said this before, but stories often teach us lessons, or we can learn something from the story. I wonder what you think we could learn from this story. I'll tell you what I think. I think we can learn how important it is to use our brains to solve problems. And it's important to be very creative when you're trying to figure out a problem, to solve a problem like that. So in this story, the fisherman is so smart. He's in a very difficult situation, but he comes up with a solution. He solves a problem that saves his life. So I really think that this story is telling us how important it is to use our strength in our brain and to be confident in our brain power. So that's what I get from this story. I'd love to know what you think we could learn from this story. Well, let's sing our goodbye song. Can you sing with me? So long, bye-bye to you. So long, bye-bye to you. So long, bye-bye to you. So long, peace be with you. Alrighty, I hope to see you next time for another story.